Do I have a motion?
A motion, we approve the minutes from 3:31.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring. 3-0, Becky.
Thank you.
Alrighty, our first order of new business is the Finance Committee report on budget recommendations and vote on warrant.
So Val, there was one warrant that did not have a number that the Finance Committee needed to vote on tonight for their recommendations to be final. I have recorded all of the votes except for the article regarding the CPC
Article 9.
amount,
The new now
the new
Article 9.
Article number 9.
But then we also haven't done Article 3 and 4 yet because we didn't have the total number for the budget yet, right?
No, you did those. We had the
that's what I
total
thought we
money.
did.
Yeah, that was completed.
So only 9.
Only 9.
And we don't have to change anything else changed.
One thing was deleted.
Okay, we don't have to worry about that.
I mean, and, well, the bylaw, you might want to review the revolving bylaw changed, but it's on procedure. It's no financial impact.
Okay. So what's the number for Article 9 that the CPA recommended?
This one.
I'm sorry.
So Article 9, which we can't vote on until we know the number.
Oh, the number is 472,173.
90 cents.
And 90 cents.
90 cents.
So they went for the yellow.
They went for everything. So that's on top of the 213,000, I hope, that they have.
Okay. Do any questions from the
Oh, it's in
Finance
there
Committee
twice, that's
about
why.
the CPA? I did sit in the library meeting today and the CPA meeting today. Any questions on that 472,173 that the CPA recommended to the town? This is for the masonry at the Groves Memorial Library that will get it into the next 100 years. That's basically what the,
Well, yeah, it's not just masonry.
no, it's masonry and pointing and everything. that-
Repair of.
Right, and they considered 2 different versions, basically half now and half in 5 years, and then decided, I think, I don't know, considering that how much everything was, they must have gone with the everything now before everything goes up in price. Lauren, do you want to say anything? She was at the library and the CPA, and
So we
she's,
received one bid. You know, obviously this has gone through the rigorous public bidding process, and everyone seems, you know, it's a lot of money, but that's what it costs, and it is preservation of our major historic structure in town.
any question from the Finance Committee?
So the total project costs are the 600, right? It's about 600.
Right, but so much of the money's already been raised and given. This is an
Okay.
additional $472,173 added to what's already in the budget to bring the Graves Memorial Library back to security for the next 100 years. Do we have a motion? Joe? You still want to look at it?
No, okay, we got a motion to vote on Article 9. Again, I didn't write down the whole number, but a lot of it's already been,
No, that's the additional.
that's the addition.
That's the new.
That's the-
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 0. Finance Committee, 3-0.
3-0.
But were you supposed to make a statement right there? Were you supposed to?
She did.
Oh, you did, okay.
She made a statement, but she sat in on the meeting.
And I'm on the library.
Thank,
Finance Committee want to adjourn at this point?
Do we have anything else that we need to do? All right.
All right,
I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I don't think there's a motion.
Second.
To start, but yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, bye-bye, people.
All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You.
Alrighty, our next order of new business is the police service contract. Becky,
Okay, so this is the third year of the police chief's current contract. So for the last couple of months, Dan Murphy was the select board member working on the negotiation with the chief, and we have met with him a few times, and in between, we felt it was important to come back to the select board as a whole for one round of negotiations. We came up with some ideas and took from the select board and took those back to the chief. And he, at this point, has agreed to the changes the final changes. So this, the contract, there you go, do you guys? The contract represents a significant increase in the chief's salary. He will be moving to $107,080 for starting on July 1st. There was another lot of discussion about the residency requirement. So we have now added a very simple residency requirement to the chief's contract, stating that he will find a domicile within 20 miles of the Sunderland police station. So if there is an issue, if the chief finds something outside of that parameter, he will come and have discussions with the select board and with the town administrator, and we'll do our best to resolve the issue. And those are, I think, just about all of the changes.
That last line
Oh,
wasn't even put back in under M from the previous contract.
I know I saved it. It's perfect. Okay, in section 7, I guess, I apologize. I've been having a tough day, being sick, and then the computer has not been very helpful. We need to add one more sentence to M on,
Yeah, it's from the existing contract,
yeah,
and that just left out.
and I,
Exact same language as
Yes.
the prior contract?
yes. And I typed it, because I originally didn't find the last contract, so I had to make a lot of changes. I had added this in and thought I had saved it, apparently not in this version.
So it's Article 7, Section M.
Yes. So I'll run down and get that so we can add that in for the chief. I think the gist of it is that he will receive 30 sick days, and if he dies, 30,
I won't receive it, but my
30 sick days will go to his beneficiaries.
if I
And so-
die within the term, on New Year,
We don't want that.
not me.
Couldn't we just vote on that?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't we just verbally? No.
Nathan, you're gonna sing for us while we're waiting?
He's not feeling good.
Not when I'm feeling well. I definitely do not want to hear my croaky voice try to belt something out today.
All right.
You sound pretty good.
I say, there's no day that anybody wants to hear me try to belt something out.
Same for me.
That's an idea for a fundraising event, to have people in town donate towards select board singing karaoke, you know?
Yeah, maybe to the select board not singing karaoke.
More money, right?
Way more.
I mean, $10 to hear a select board sing a song, $20 to not hear a select board sing a song.
I'll sing in church because they're not supposed to judge you there, but they do.
And it's the only place I sing. That's it.
I have so many good memories of my grandmother singing just as a kid. She was classic. You're getting your exercise today.
Because I have this in now.
Yep. That's all right, yeah.
Okay. So I will read it into here and then transcribe it for signing. Accumulated sick leave up to 30 days shall be paid in a lump sum to the spouse or beneficiary of the chief where his services are terminated by death during the term of his, I put it in the wrong.
You put it in N.
Ah, I knew it.
It's an N.
Okay, we're gonna move this up here. You know we have the language right. Okay.
That's the same as what I'm reading. It's in there.
As long as it's on there, that's fine. So that's good, though, we can just go ahead and sign the existing one.
Yep.
Yeah, so just circle it and arrow it up to
Yeah.
N, initial it, and
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
Are you gonna take a vote?
Yeah, so I guess,
This time, I would entertain a motion to approve the chief's contract and sign it.
I make a motion that we approve the chief's 3-year contract.
second.
Here's the one with the,
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring. 3-0. Becky, thank you very much, chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate your service, and we're glad to have you here for another 3 years.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Great, good.
All right.
3-0.
Our next order of new business is a new hire of a Board of Health clerk appointment.
We have been very fortunate to have
Thank you.
a very experienced, thank you,
Thank you so much.
Eric. We have a very experienced candidate. Officially, her name is Katern Fort Pierce. She goes by Beanie. She has, I think, over 20 years of experience in municipal work. She started as a Board of Health clerk, which is very appropriate for this position. She rose to be a health agent in Montague. She then turned her sights on town clerk, became an assistant town clerk, and was promoted to town clerk fairly recently. And now she is retiring, and we will be the beneficiaries of her retirement as she felt a 5-hour work week was just perfect.
It's great.
There will be times when she's on vacation, and then she'll make up her time the following week, if needed. She has a lot of ideas how to make the department efficient and how to set up the files in a more efficient way. So we're very much looking forward to her starting.
In the health department, the health, Board of Health, they're very happy to have her, right?
Oh, very,
Okay.
very much so.
Okay. Good, so need a motion to appoint, or what is it, hire?
Yep.
A motion to appoint.
Motion to appoint,
New of Catherine Fort Pierce to the position of Board of Health clerk.
you make a motion, second?
So moved.
Oh, so moved, yeah.
So we still need a
Second.
All right, we have a motion moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nathaniel Waring, 3-0.
All right, good.
Alrighty, our other appointment today is for a highway seasonal laborer.
Okay. The person's name is Christine Walker Miller. And she is ready to do the work, and it's, summer temporary work, so we're hiring her on a temporary basis.
What's the projected start date?
I believe it was May 1st.
May 1st?
I'll double check, I think that's what
Any
it was.
discussion on this item?
No,
All right, at this time, I've entertained a motion to approve the hiring of the seasonal helper position as described by Becky.
All right, I motion we approve hiring Kristen Miller as Highway Department seasonal help.
second,
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, 3-0 Becky.
Thank you.
All right, up next is the VR contract, which I believe is our accounting software, is that correct?
Yes, it is. Last year, you all signed a contract, the official major contract for this that we are now adding to. So the agreement was established in 2024, so we are bound to the agreement from then, if you wanted to review that. And today, we are just signing a very simple amendment to the contract, saying that we are taking on the tax systems, and Vadar will continue to support the accounting software and in the new agreement. The time period, because of the original contract, is July 1 through 2023, started in July 1, 2023 through June 30, 26. So at that point, when we renew, it'll all be bundled together instead of just being an amendment. The wonderful thing about picking up these additional pieces of Vadar is the town is able to do it within the budget. Point Software was very expensive maintenance fees of $12,000 a year. So I think this is going to be a benefit to the town, to have all the systems on one software. It'll make things much more efficient.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the changes to the VR contract.
I motion we approve the changes amendment to the Vadar contract.
Second,
We have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, so next up is the review and the vote for the Capital Stabilization Planning Committee's 2026, 4-year 2026 recommendations. Capital Planning Committee met this past week and went over all the requests as well as the various options the town has for funding and also, as we discussed in the past, for shoring up the balance of the capital stabilization account due to the fact that we didn't collect those appropriated funds this past year. So, long story short, we have found a way to be able to close the gap without having to call a special town meeting and transfer money out of the general stabilization funds. This is a combination of a number of different pieces, primarily the recapture of a bunch of money that had been sitting in capital stabilization accounts for projects that were already completed but had not been closed back out to the town. So we were able to find, I think, it's about $90,000, which is just a one big opportunity to thank Becky for her hard work on doing so. Every penny we found there was a penny less that we had to ask the town to transfer over. In addition to that, we were able to. We had a discussion about the two items that are out there are pending for this building, or that building, since I'm not actually there right now. And that would be the item for the front steps and the item for the floors inside. Neither of those projects have been completed all in the last 2 or so years, and are in no position to start breaking ground between now and July. Due to that, and also due to the sort of fairly nebulous and vague dollar amounts and lack of you know, plans and quotes and whatnot from that project, we felt it made sense to transfer that money back into the stabilization account to get us back over the zero line, and then have those projects have actual engineering done, so that we can have a realistic dollar amount, which we can then approve for next year's budget to get those projects moving forward. Am I missing anything, Becky? Was there any other?
I think just to make it clear that the total amount is $186,627.31.
So where's the money coming from to get the engineering work done to, if we're returning all that?
Yeah, so we had also, as part of that, we also added a $10,000 engineering
Okay.
line to this year's capital stabilization projects that will come out of the $420,000 that we're appropriating for this year, and that will give us the money we need to be able to actually do those engineering, or you know, get us on our path in that respect.
Oh, that seems,
Well,
yeah.
so there was 48 in here that we transferred out, and you're saying we're putting 10 back in, and that's for the school street engineering?
No, it's
No,
for the
this
front
building.
step.
Oh, for the front step, oh, okay.
Because we had approved both of those projects without any consideration for engineering, and while the floors are probably just going to be a straight bid from some flooring company,
Yep.
there was concern that not having money for the engineering part of the front steps
Okay.
was going to end up sort of being a problem in that
Okay.
respect. So that's why the committee recommended that we do the 10,000 for, and that's just for the front steps. Again, we don't think we need that for the floors, because that's not really an engineering. I'm not an engineer, so, you know,
Yep.
I could be wrong on that, but that was what the committee had come to.
Okay.
What do you think, Dan?
Hey, it makes sense.
10,000 maybe?
Yeah, I don't know, it's for the steps. It should be fairly small.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we had been looking at that project, the whole project being $50,000.
Yep.
And again, part of our discussion was, we don't know whether that's even realistic now with current prices and whatnot. So part of this would give us a chance to come up with an actual realistic dollar amount. And on that note, that was something that the committee had discussed as sort of a direction the committee would like to see the town go in, is having more realistic and more, data-driven dollar amounts on projects, so that we don't just say, it sounds like a $50,000 project, and then sign a chunk of money to it, but actually having, the departments who come to us asking for money have done enough legwork to have a realistic dollar amount. And to be clear, a lot of departments already do that. That's not me trying to throw shade at any of the departments.
Yep.
We do get very realistic bids, but just that's sort of unwritten policy that we'd like to solidify a little more, is when you request money from the capital planning committee, you have a good idea of how much that money is going to be, and not just sort of a vague dollar amount.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Okay.
And then on the other side, the money going out, I believe is $350,000.
It went up to 360 because of the 10.
60 because of the 10, yeah. So the projects that were requested from the town this year, as I said, would go up to 350 and change, and then we amended that with the $10,000 for the engineering for the steps. So at 360, with the 420 going in, will leave us after everything is settled with a little bit of a nest egg for next year, especially going towards the school roof replacement, which is what we have in our long-term sites.
Okay.
Yep. So between that and the 39,000 we hope to be receiving shortly, the rebates, that might mean they'll have cap stabilization back up to 100,000.
Yep.
That's the hope.
Yeah. And part of our thinking about all this is that we're trying, as discussed in previous meetings, we're trying to keep what reserves the town has as liquid as possible, and not necessarily the actual liquidity, because that doesn't exist in town politics, but in terms of if we transfer a bunch of money from general stabilization into capital stabilization, that doesn't really be there this year. If next year we have a hard budget season, we can't transfer that money back out. That's capital stabilization money, and it's stuck that way. Whereas if we leave as much as possible in general stabilization, which this plan is effectively not putting any money out of general stabilization. That money is, more fluid, more able to be used for budget stabilization next year, or some large non-capital project or something like that. So that was the direction that the capital stabilization committee was trying to go in.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions from either of you on this plan or the recommendation from the committee?
Nope.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to accept the capital stabilization recommendations. And Becky, do you want us to vote on the warrant article for that, or is that down the line?
Probably should do all those together. Or we could do it at the same time, though.
All right, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the capital stabilization planning committee's recommendations.
I motion we accept the capital stabilization committee's recommendations.
Second?
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, 3-0. Alrighty, up next is the capital stabilization override, 2.5% increase authorization. This is a vote to increase the amount of the capital stabilization override by the prescribed 2.5% of Prop 2.5, which brings it from 409,000 and change to 420,000 and change. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's a 2.5% increase. Any discussion from the board on that?
Nope.
All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to increase the capital stabilization override amount by 2.5%.
Make a motion that we increase the capital stabilization amount by 2.5%.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nathaniel Waring, 3-0. All right. Review the final budget updated for year 25 revenue and expenses. Real quick.
Is this one on SharePoint?
Yes, it should be.
Okay, just not until, it's in the, do you know which folder it's in? Is it in the
I think it's in
town meeting folder?
tonight's,
It's not in tonight's.
the town meeting, I hope.
I just, cause I
Yeah, it's
can't
so
read
little,
this.
I know. I hope I got it in there.
Try budget materials.
I can, did you
That's
see?
all right. I don't see it in there, but that's all right. That's all right. I can.
Okay.
He was looking at something. Okay, so our final budget shows that we will we have a balanced budget. We're using an extensive amount of reserves. We have $138,404 coming from the stabilization fund to balance the budget. We have another $300,000 coming from free cash to balance the budget.
And that's 250 for the operating and then another 50 for OPEB, right?
Yes. Part of our school responsibilities are a $60,000 piece due to a sick buyback at the elementary school. We have a $60,000 warrant article that's outside of the budget. So that's actually part of balancing the budget too. We have cut back in a lot of areas. I think in total, working with all departments, I had $150,000 worth of cuts to original requests. And every department from top to bottom really stepped up to make this work. And it's, I think most everybody is okay with where we're at. We built back a little bit where we cut too deep for the highway department and some other departments. The school helped out by they lost a position through attrition, and they're not filling it this year. So what we're looking at, you'll see a number of increases, but you'll also see a number of decreases scattered throughout, which to me is impressive that your department heads and your employees were ready to look at where to chop without too much urging. There have been very little changes since the last time the select board reviewed. And I do know that we do have, you'll see that there's one adjustment that was not made. There'll be $420 coming back to free cash from the police chief's line. The other factor that made this budget balance is we increased our local receipt projection under revenue by 7.5%, which also added $55,000 to the revenue that we didn't have prior to that. Do we have any questions? Chris? No.
I'll look at the line items,
Oh,
but we can
okay.
save that for another time. I'll roll it in the town meeting with you.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to say that where we started this budget season was over $500,000 of deficit in the operating budget and $400,000 of a hole in the capital budget because of the issue we discussed many times. So just wanted to just highlight that we went from $900-ish thousand worth of gap to close, and we're closing it with only $500,000 of free cash and general stabilization. Those two accounts together had about $1.2 million between the two of them starting out. Just over $600,000 and just under $600,000 two dollar amounts. And so while we are getting a sizable chunk out of them, getting down to the capital, to the general stabilization, only having 140 coming up this year, where we were originally looking at more like 300, is a big deal and pretty big movement. It does leave us in a much better position for the future than we were worried we were going to be at this point. So just again, a huge thank you to Becky for all her hard work, a huge thank you to all of our town department heads and employees for buckling down and figuring out how to save some money. A huge thank you to the Insurance Advisory Committee for their hard work in getting that down, and again, Becky for her work on that as well. It was really this year's budget season was a combined effort of everybody in this room and many other people to find a way to be able to close these large dollar amounts. So as bleak as it does still look with that much money coming out, again, we're looking at 360 out of free cash and 140 out of the general stabilization instead of looking at close to $1 million worth of transfers. So great effort on everyone's part. Really proud of how we've all done, and just wanted to take a minute. On that note, do we have any more discussion on either the revenue or the expenses side?
I'm good. I'm okay.
I'm good.
All right. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to accept these final budget numbers and move forward with them as our budget for 26.
I motion we approve the budget presented to us tonight.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I, Nathaniel Waring. It is 3-0. Thank you very much. All right, our final new item is a review and vote final draft of annual town meeting warrant. So do we need to go top to bottom every article? Is that what we're doing today?
Yes.
All right, this is the fun part.
Nathaniel, I don't think you have the final version.
I may not.
So what's that mean?
I will be right back.
Okay.
I gotta email him the final
Oh, I see,
version
I see.
so he can do this.
Okay. you get a check. Poor thing.
How are things going with you, Chris? Nice to see you, if you're tiny in the background.
It's been a struggle with cars lately. My car died on me, whenever the last time I was here,
Yeah.
about a month ago. Car died on me. I was driving a loaner car for my dad because he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
That died on me too. So, my brother's thrilled that he gets to call him from Springfield for a second time to come pick me up.
Oh, no. Well, they come in threes, so hope he makes it. Oh, yeah.
How are the other towns you cover doing this year, budget-wise? Things all around?
I know Whately had a pretty big increase to their elementary school budget. They had about a 10% increase because they had to fund a one-on-one IA. Other than that, I haven't heard much out of Deerfield, so maybe that's a good thing. Conway's plugging along. I feel like I've been all over the place. But I think you guys had the most difficulty, but it seems like you got through it.
Always gotta find a way through.
Pretty well for our years.
I think it's just a tough year for everybody, and it's only going to get more difficult.
I think it was ARPA was the first year without the ARPA, so.
I think that was part of why Whately Elementary School's increase was so large.
Well, it's just there was so much little stuff we were able to do
Mhm.
with, and some of it wasn't little. Some of it was big, you know, when we looked at,
I mean, you look at like Deerfield, they threw like 600,000 at the 1888 building, ARPA money. That's a lot of money that we can just throw around.
It doesn't help that the insurance increase that we saw was unfortunately not an atypical increase. A lot of towns were seeing, not insignificant double-digit increases. And so that's been real hard for any number of towns,
I think Greenfield got whacked by that as well. I know Pioneer as a school district is seeing like an 18.5% increase in their insurance costs.
yeah, so ours started out at 19%
Yeah.
insurance increase.
Yeah, Pioneer is part of the Hampshire Valley Insurance Trust there. Are you guys part of that?
No, we're part of a different one.
Okay.
That's with me. But, yeah.
Yeah, I know the Hampshire one, and all those communities and school districts are kind of getting whacked with that.
No. We have discussed in the past the membership of which one we're in and other ones, and as far as we've been told, grass is not much greener on that side either. It's pretty much these kind of increases are happening to everybody's plans, so we're not going to necessarily find a different option that's going to be cheaper. And that says nothing about the current national political climate and any kind of impact that tariffs or I won't go into it, but any number of things might have on our budget items and the cost of goods and whatnot. You just take time to be in this politics for sure.
Did you receive an email yet, Nathaniel?
I should. Let me. You send it to my account or something with the one? Or
Yes.
the personal?
Town of Sunderland. Thank you so much, Crystal. Dan.
You got yours hanging around your neck now?
I hadn't even put them on today. It's been...
Not in my inbox yet, but it's, I'm sure it'll show up if anybody's inbox is slow. You can go ahead and get started. Starting with Article 1.
Excuse me.
Crystal or Dan, do you guys want to start reading the articles off?
All right. Article 1, to see if the town will vote to hear the reports of the Select Board, the Sunderland School Committee, and all other town officers, boards, committees, and commissions, or take any vote or notes in relation thereto. So, motion for the Select Board to recommend, I make a motion the Select Board recommends Article 1.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring. That's Article 1.
Beautiful.
Okay, Article 2, to see if the town will vote under the provisions of Mass
We
General.
don't vote Article
vote?
2 because
Okay.
that's our pay in it, or we
Oh.
don't recommend that one because
Right,
our
not
pay
on
is in
there.
it.
So go to 3?
Yeah.
All right, Article 3, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds or otherwise provide a sum or sums of money for the town and general and municipal purposes connected therewith for fiscal year 2026, or take any votes or votes in relation thereto.
So that's the budget article, which will be fully fleshed out in the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I motion we recommend Article 3.
Second?
All right, we have a motion made and seconded to recommend Article 3. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring. 3-0 for Article 3.
Article 4, to see if the town will vote and raise, appropriate, transfer from available funds or otherwise provide a sum or sums of money for the fiscal year 2026 capital budget, specifically for the capital equipment, building, facilities, and other capital projects as shown on a document entitled FY26 Capital Budget by Funding Source on file with the town clerk and posted on the town website at www.townofsunderland.us, and as may be necessary in connection therewith, and to authorize one or more tax-exempt lease purchase finance agreements pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Section 31C for capital equipment identified in the fiscal year 26 capital budget for terms not to exceed the useful life of the equipment is determined by the Select Board, or take any vote or votes in relation thereto.
Motion to recommend Article 4?
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded to recommend Article 4. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring. All right, 3-0 on Article 4.
Article 5, move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $60,000 from stabilization funds to fund the accumulated sick and vacation leave buyback for Sunderland Elementary School employees pursuant to the town bylaws and/or collective bargaining agreements.
I motion we recommend Article 5.
Second?
So there's a question on this before we vote, and that is, the wording of this sounds like it's coming out of stabilization funds. Is that supposed to be coming out of free cash, or is that just how that's written, but it's coming out of free cash?
It's not on the chart. I think we went back and forth on this one. I think when I did this, it was because at that point, there's only 140 coming out, and there's 360,000 coming out of free cash. So it's, should it be free cash?
I mean, I am not particularly strong opinion on either one. I just want to make sure that we're doing what we're wanting to do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, personally, we moved a lot less money out of general stabilization than we were planning on because of the capital stabilization side of things. And 360,000 out of free cash is a lot of free cash. I wouldn't hate having it be 300 of free cash and, you know, just shy of 200 out of general stabilization. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page there, and that's what we were planning on doing.
I wanted to make sure that we could have this discussion.
So, Crystal and Dan, do you have a problem with it being from general stabilization?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta come from somewhere.
Yep. I feel also, and again, next year we can transfer money from the general stabilization from free cash into general stabilization if we have a year where we have a surplus in free cash. But this will also mean that next year's free cash numbers will not be quite as dismal. So I agree with that. All right. Now that we've had some discussion, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring? 3-0 on that one.
Article 6, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds or otherwise provide a sum or sums of money to pay prior year bills, specifically Kearsarge Energy invoice number INV2878, a true-up invoice for 4/5/2024 and 6/5/2024, billed 11/15/2024 for a sum of $5,300.07, and take any other action in relation thereto.
Motion to recommend Article 6.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring? 3-0, Becky.
Thank you. And I just wanted to comment, just so you're clear, typically, they used a bill date of this year, but they were billing us for services that we received in the last fiscal year.
Yeah,
So I didn't want to take any chances.
it happens every once in a while.
Okay, so we do Article 7, right?
Yes.
And these are all good, right? All right. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to appropriate or reserve from the Community Preservation Fund annual revenues in the amounts recommended by the Community Preservation Committee for community administrative expenses, community preservation projects, and other expenses in the fiscal year 2026, or take any other action thereto. Appropriations from fiscal year 26, estimated revenues for community administrative expenses is $6,000. Community preservation debt service is 0, so no. From reserves, fiscal year 26 estimated revenues for historic resources reserve is $23,364. Fiscal year 26 estimated revenues for community housing reserve is $23,364. And fiscal year 26 estimated revenues for open space reserve is also $23,364. The fiscal year 26 estimated revenues for CPA annual budgeted reserve is $163,548. Estimated revenues are based on fiscal year 26 CPA surcharge estimate of $198,000 and 18% state match, up 15.9% base DOR estimate, $35,640, 10% of that total for each reserve fund.
Discussion on that?
I motion we recommend Article 7.
Second?
All right, motion made and seconded to recommend Article 7. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring? 3-0, Becky.
Got it. Now you want to skip 8 and 9 and go to the middle of the page to 8. They got duplicated when I had to move them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Article 8, to see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the amount of $100,000 from CPA annual budgeted reserve to the town's conservation trust for the acquisition of a parcel or parcels of land in the town of Sunderland, and to authorize the Conservation Commission to acquire said interests in land upon each terms and conditions, and for such consideration as it deems appropriate, and to authorize the Select Board to grant a permanent restriction on said parcels pursuant to and meeting the requirements of Section 12 of Chapter 44B of the General Laws, or take any action thereto.
I make a motion that we recommend Article 8.
Second?
All right, the motion made and seconded to recommend Article 8. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring? 3-0, Becky.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, Article 9, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the amount of $472,173.90 from the CPA fiscal year 25 fund balance as requested by the Sunderland Public Library. Monies will be used for the restoration of the masonry, foundation, and site of the Graves Memorial Library for the purpose of exterior preservation and related work. Said funds to be expended under the direction of the Sunderland Public Library or take any other action thereto.
I motion we recommend Article 9.
Second?
We have a motion made and seconded to recommend Article 9. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Murray, 3-0.
Okay.
Article 10, to see if the town will vote and adopt and enact the amendments to the Franklin County Regional Council of Government, the FERCog, chapter on file with the FERCog and posted on the FERCog website at www.frcog.org. Said amendments having been proposed by 2/3 majority of the weighted vote of the full membership of the FERCog Council and a majority of the vote of the FERCog Executive Committee, with said amendments taking full effect immediately upon adoption by 2/3 of the member towns unless a latter effective date is otherwise specified, or take any action relative thereto.
Make a motion that we recommend Article 10?
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded to recommend Article 10. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Murray, 3-0.
Okay, and this is where I note, Article 11 was for, taxing Airbnbs in town. Well, upon closer review, I did find, Sunderland adopted it. We're collecting about $10,000 a year.
Okay.
So that was removed from the article.
Okay.
Okay.
And this number will have to get changed to 11.
Oh, it's me, okay, so I get this. So Article 12, to see if the town will vote to, 1, revoke acceptance of general law, chapter 44,
Yep,
Yep.
section.
section 53D, thereby dissolving the Recreation Department self-supporting service revolving fund established under said section 53D effective June 30th, 2025.
I want to explain what's going on here. The original recreation revolving account was set up, was it in '82? It was a long, long time ago under 53D. Since that time, and the restraint on this is when, at the end of the year, you can only keep a balance of $10,000 in the account and all the money is turned over to free cash. So the best advice from council is to close that account and open up 2 new accounts under 53E and a half, where you can set higher limits, you don't lose the money into the general fund, and you don't have that accounting process at the end of the year clearing out all but $10,000. So to do that, we're following these steps.
Okay. Okay, so number 2 is establish a new recreation department programming revolving fund for the recreation department in accordance with general law, chapter 44, section 53E and a half, effective July 1, 2025. Number 3, establish a new recreation department field use revolving fund for the recreation department in accordance with general law, chapter 44, section 53E and a half, effective July 1, 2025. 4, amend section 35-6, authorize revolving funds of the general bylaws by adding entries to the table for the recreation department, programming and recreation department field use revolving funds. 5, pursuant to general law, chapter 44, section 53E and a half, set the limit on the total amount that may be spent from the recreation department programming and recreation department field use revolving funds for fiscal year 26 at an amount not to exceed, what's that say?
It says,
That is a lot. Is that the right number?
he explained that number saying, we will be editing to a more reasonable number in the motion, which the number we had been using was 40,000.
Yeah.
So,
So I want to read this one? You want me to say
If
100
you
million?
want to,
We can amend that down, right?
Well, it should be 100,000, not 100 million,
Yeah,
right?
That's
oh
right.
my God, I didn't see that.
Oh, maybe it's just an
No,
extra.
he has a period.
It's a
He-
period, so it's $100,000, not to exceed $100,000 each. And number 6, on July 1, 2025, transfer an amount not to exceed $100,000 from certified free cash to the budget of the Recreation Department to be expended under the direction of the Recreation Coordinator, and which transfer shall be a one-time transfer, or take any vote or votes in relation thereto.
This last step is because the monies that we're working with in the revolving fund, when we close them out, they have to go to free cash. We can't transfer them into the new revolving fund. So we put that money in free cash and then transfer out the same amount into the revolving fund. Otherwise, Jim could be caught without any revenue.
Okay.
So we're trying to cover all the bases.
I motion we recommend Article 12 to be renumbered Article 11.
Yes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to recommend Article 12 to be renumbered Article 11. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, for nothing.
You get this one?
Yeah. Article 13 to be renumbered Article 12. To see if the town will vote pursuant to the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53.5, as most recently amended and established fiscal year 2026 fiscal year spending limits for the revolving funds listed in Section 35.6 of General Bylaws, and to authorize such expenditure limits to remain in place from fiscal year to fiscal year unless revised by town meeting prior to July 1st for the ensuing fiscal year as follows. Wire inspector, 20,000, plumbing inspector, 4,500, Board of Health, is that 16 or 18? 16,500, Sunderland Public Library Community Room, 5,000, fire inspection, 7,000, highway shared equipment, 23,000, or take any vote or votes in relation thereto.
I motion we recommend Article 13, soon to be Article 12.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to recommend Article 13 to be Article 12. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, for nothing.
All right, Article 14, to see if the town will vote to adopt the following non-binding resolution in the form of a land acknowledgement to be posted on the town's website and to be recited at annual town meeting and other important events. It may be recited optionally by the town boards and committees and used in such educational settings as the Sunderland Elementary School and Sunderland Public Library as a starting point for the exploration of the indigenous history of our town and our region. I gotta read that. I should read it.
Do we have to read the whole acknowledgement?
No,
Oh, okay.
these are non-binding,
Okay.
Yeah.
so you don't vote them either.
And we don't
this
vote
one, no
them.
vote on it. Okay, okay.
So, we don't have to do anything with the next one. We don't even have to. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to adopt the following non-binding resolution that supports the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. And then
Then you go on to the consent
to the
articles.
consent articles.
Back to
We won't
15.
go to the block.
Do we do?
Yes,
recommend
we
those?
do these as a
All
block.
all these? So
Yeah.
do we
And
read them or we just say consent articles?
You
No,
can
the
just say
consent articles.
Okay, so, make a motion to recommend the consent articles 16 through 21?
15
Second,
through 20.
Oh, 15 through 20.
Yeah.
Right. Second? Okay.
yep, second.
All right, the motion made and seconded to recommend the consent articles, Article 16 through 21, so it will be 15 through 20. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Nathaniel Waring, for nothing.
That's the warrant.
Good.
That was a lot of reading.
That was good. I
You
didn't
brought
know.
you guys
Yeah.
jugs of water.
You did good with that, boss.
Yeah, well, that's big enough, I could see that.
All right, so that should be the end of our new business for today. So thank you, everybody. Our next up on our old business, the first up is select board updates. Crystal, do you have anything for us today?
No, I've got South County EMS coming up this week, so I don't have anything yet.
No, I don't have anything.
All right. The only thing I had was the capital planning committee meeting last week. I didn't go over that, so I don't need to go into any detail. All right. Moving on to town administrator updates. Do you have anything for us tonight?
I do want to wrap up signatures for the warrant.
Okay,
Wendy asked that I get 4 pages signed
okay,
by each of you, and hopefully Nathaniel will feel better to be able to come in
Yeah.
before
I will
Friday.
come in at the very least somewhere where nobody is, and I can sign them, and it can space place all on them. But no, I'll make my way in.
I'll put them, I'll leave them in the orange folder.
I was gonna say, we could talk about it, Nate, but I could leave them someplace outside for you.
We're close enough to the town hall that
Okay.
I will do that. Trying to avoid getting anyone sick. Did you and your family are on that list there? While they're finishing that up, Becky, do you have any other town administrator updates for us?
Okay, we did that. I'm afraid I do not. Not today.
All right. We don't have any correspondence today. Any public comments? I think, Chris, you're the only one in the audience currently. Do you have anything for us tonight?
Oh, Eric's back there too.
Oh, I apologize. The whole screen is hitting on my monitor currently.
I think I'm good right now. Thank you, though.
Thank you, Chris. Anything from you, Eric? All right. Not hearing any public comment. I will, was on. We have no executive session tonight. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Aye, motion we adjourned.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I, Nathaniel Waring, time is 7:52 p.m. Our next meeting will be next Monday on April 22nd. Sorry, next Tuesday, April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Is that correct, Becky? That's what I have on the...
Yes, that's what we are posting for Tuesday because of the Patriots' Day holiday on Monday.
Alrighty, thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the hard work on the budget, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you. Thank you,
Great.
Nathaniel.
Thank you.